Well, we got ourselves another bullshit propaganda video. This is from Equality Can't Wait. And in the description, the World Economic Forum's report reveals a gender gap in the United States. At the current rate of change, it will take us 208 years. It's such crap that I can't help but chuckle. I might have to get the goat here, too, because this is a big pile of stinking BS, people.
Right now, it's 2019.
Current year, yes. Yes, it is. Thank you for reminding me.
It's going to take 208 years
to close the gender equality gap in the United States.
Son of a bitch. 208. Oh, no. That's terrible. It's going to take 200 more years for more women to be involved in the sewage industry. It's going to take 200 more years for more women to be in construction, more women to be in farming, fishing, all those nasty little dirty jobs that you view through the glass floor. Is that what you're getting at, Chad?
That's this many generations, or your great-granddaughter's great-granddaughter's daughter.
Assuming they don't all have abortions. Yes. You know, that's another thing that's completely equal in the United States between the genders of reproductive rights. Let's not even go there. We know women are oppressed. They have all the choices and men have but one. Pay. Oh, let's not talk about that. Now, here's where they, of course, go wrong with their little propaganda piece. What is the definition of gender equality that is going to take 208 years for us to achieve? After all, if we're still alive in 208 years, what would be the red flag? What would be, hey, we did it. We made it. We're there. 208 years, it took us 208 years, but we're there. Okay, define what there is. Well, of course, they don't do that because they can't. Because what they're talking about is the government forcing you to do something that you choose not to do yourself. We'll get to that.
The U.S. will continue to be robbed
of women's talent and ingenuity.
But why 208 years?
Yeah. What is the end goal? What is here we are? We have arrived. Fireworks, marching bands, stuff like that. What is the goal? I would like to know.
And what can all of us do to shorten this timeline?
Studies have shown that gender parity is fundamental to whether and how societies and economies thrive.
Again, now we're to gender parity. We're not just gender equality, gender parity, you see. Suddenly we change gears in the middle of the propaganda. That's to keep you thrown off. Gender equality, who could argue with that? No one. Everybody wants everybody to have equal rights and all that stuff, which we do in the West. Now it's gender parity, meaning forced outcomes by the government. And what kind of government do you think really enjoys making everyone equally miserable? Can you say socialism?
Every year, the World Economic Forum
measures the gender gap in countries all across the world.
And let me guess, the United States sucks.
Each country gets a score across 4 categories: economic participation and opportunity,
educational attainment,
health and survival,
and political empowerment.
So here we go. We have actual examples of what the problems that will be fixed in 208 years, right?
In 2018, the United States ranked 51 out of 149 countries.
We're just right below Mexico, yet all the Mexicans seem to want to come here. If it's better in Mexico, why wouldn't they want to stay there? I see Zimbabwe is ahead of the United States, along with Mozambique and Uganda. Boy, we suck.
On this scale.
Its score has actually improved over the last dozen years.
The patriarchy at work.
In every category but one.
Health and survival.
Okay. See, if you're a woman in the United States, it sucks. You cannot go to a hospital. That's right. You can't get health care. You can't get maternity care. You can't get pills and whatever, examinations if you're having a baby. That's why it sucks for being a woman.
Yeah, that one.
Today, the U.S. has the worst maternal mortality rate of any country in the developed world.
You know, I looked at the report, which I will link below, and next to maternal mortality rate, there was a dash. There wasn't a number. Odd that. Is the real number behind a paywall somewhere? And I'm just looking at the summary. I bet. Well, I looked at the CDC, and they say the number is 17.3 per 100,000. Now, the way this is counted is also very interesting. One might hear this, oh my God, women dying during childbirth. We've got to do something. Yeah, women to die when they're having kids, it's terrible. But they're counting women dying before giving birth, women dying during birth, within a week of giving birth, and between a week and a year after giving birth. Now, maybe I'm just being cynical, but a lot can happen to somebody a year after they give birth. They could die in a car accident. They could get cancer or some other horrible shit and just boom. What does that have to do with having a baby? Nothing. But let's lump all those numbers in together because women's are oppressed.
Life expectancy for everyone in the U.S. has declined over the last dozen years, but the decline for women is almost 4 times more than men.
Wow. And they live longer to begin with, so boo freaking who. Wah.
But there's good news.
Good.
The U.S. has achieved gender parity across all levels of the education system.
Notice she said all levels of the education system, gender parity. Now, she has a very, very interesting definition of parity when it comes to college. For you see, women outnumber men in college 3-2. In other words, there's not 51% women in college and 49% male. No, there are 60% of college students who are women. That's a very, very interesting definition of parity.
And women earn over 2/3 of all master's degrees.
And earn over half of all doctoral degrees.
And earn 2/3 of all the student debt.
But the gender gap in the workplace hasn't seen the same shift.
So now we're going to get around to, in 208 years, there are going to be more women involved in the sanitation business, or in drilling for oil, or, I don't know, mining, coal mining, fishing, logging, all those things that keep the country going every day, aren't we? Let's talk about it.
For every 100 men who are promoted,
Only 79 women are promoted.
Are we to assume from that little statistic that out of every 100 men offered a promotion, only 79 are? Well, of course, that's what we're supposed to think. But what about, say, if you took 100 men offered a promotion, 100 women offered a promotion, how many of those accepted the promotion? Because, a promotion isn't just a bigger, fancier office. It's more responsibility. It's more time at work. I wonder if a few of those 79 women who didn't get a promotion or whatever maybe declined it. But let's not talk about that.
only 6.6% of Fortune 500 CEOs are women.
And the other 400 and some are men out of a country of 330 million people. There are only 500 CEOs in the Fortune 500, sweetheart. That is a fraction of a percentage of the people in this country.
And speaking of leadership positions,
The U.S. isn't even close to achieving gender parity in elected officials.
But women are not prevented from running, though, are they? As far as I know, I think it's anybody can run for president or senator if you're a certain age and whatever. So maybe they're not running. Or maybe when they do, people don't vote for them. You see, we still have a vote. Or are you trying to take that away from us, too?
The U.S. is 98th in our representation of women in political institutions.
In the history of the United States, one woman, has been nominated to be president of the United States by the Democrats. Republicans, 0. Democrats had 1 vice presidential candidate who was a female, 1984. The Republicans had 1 vice presidential candidate, Sarah Palin, 2008. Now you tell me, the party of women, looking out for the women's, looking out for the poor oppressed women in the United States. How many decades have they had to nominate a woman for president? Contemplate that.
Women make up less than 25% of Congress.
Yeah, well, maybe they should run. I don't like where this is going, sweetheart. It sounds to me like you want a parity system in Congress, meaning you do not want to allow people to vote for whom they want to. that is not really a democracy or a representative republic. That's more like the Soviet Union.
Over 50 countries have elected women to head of state.
Not us.
So there you have it.
So then the Democrats ought to be scraping up some more candidates for president like Elizabeth Warren. Or maybe they should have nominated Geraldine Ferraro in 1984 to the top spot, since they're all so progressive and they love women's and they all, but they haven't. President Obama could have ended whatever imaginary wage gap you women believe you're still oppressed by with the stroke of a pen. He could have a law passed, 2 years of majority in the House and Senate and the presidency. And what did he do for you poor oppressed women's? Nothing.
But what if we could stop the statistic before it becomes a reality?
I mean, who doesn't love a good comeback story?
Iceland, we're coming for you.
Yeah, government-enforced gender equality is what we're talking about here, guys. To tell us what jobs we can take and whom we can vote for. It's only fair, isn't it? Link below, James Maxwell. Thank you for listening.